We're going to get started. I call to order the June 9th, 2026 regular meeting of the City Council at 6:19 p.m. Just a note, our closed session we'll take public comment for after the meeting. And would our lovely librarian, Sarah Harper, lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam City Clerk, roll call, please.
Yes, first I have to make a statement.
Is that me? I couldn't hear. What did you just say?
Yes, a statement for Councilmember Jackson. On Thursday, June 4th, 2026, Councilmember Jackson requested to join Tuesday's City Council meeting virtually via Zoom in accordance with SB 707 under the Just Cause Clause. Because he is traveling on official business as a California Coastal Commissioner to this month's meeting. SB 707 requires that Councilmember Jackson disclose whether there are any other individuals 18 years of age or older present in the room at your remote location and the general nature of your relationship with such individual. SB 707 also requires that Councilmember Jackson's camera and audio be on throughout the meeting. Lastly, it requires that all votes be taken by roll call. Councilmember Jackson, please confirm.
I confirm that I am alone.
Thank you. Now I'll take roll call. Councilmember Seaman?
Here.
Councilmember Francois?
Here.
Councilmember Jackson?
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Keegan?
Here.
Mayor DeToy?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. We have no city or no closed session report. I'll take us to announcements. Do my colleagues have any announcements?
Yes. Just one moment. Martha, if you would, please. Well, while we're waiting for the video, I'd like to announce the Hermosa Beach Sister Cities Association is having their gala. It's on June 20th from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m. It's at St. Cross Episcopal Church in Hermosa Beach. And the theme of the night is Casino Baja Soul. It's going to be a great fun party. It's going to be lots of activities there, lots of entertainment, games to play, and lots of fun to be had. And wish you could see the video for it. It's just a little flyer that gives all the information. So if you need more information, you can get a hold of the Sister Cities organization at www.hb/sistercities.org. That's their website, or just that'll be it. There you go. Oh, there you go. It's finally up. So there's all the information. I hope you all join us for that. It's going to be a great party, a lot of fun, and it goes to a great, great cause. Sister City supports several different charities, one of which is the Casa Hogar, is a orphanage in Baja, Mexico. Excuse me. Well, it's in Baja, Mexico, but at any rate, it's a wonderful orphanage there. So please join us for that. My next announcement then would be for the Hermosa Beach Fine Arts Festival, which will be up in a moment. The Fine Arts Festival is going to be from June 13th to the 14th of this month, and then this is the Hermosa Beach Community Center lawn at the corner of PCH and Pier. I think it'll be a really wonderful event. If you like art, please come. If you don't like art, you should come. You will enjoy art afterward, I'm sure. So appreciate you attending both of these, and look forward to seeing you there. There you go. Thank you very much.
Anyone else? Ray, got anything?
No, sir.
All right, I have a couple. Join me for my mayor's conversation and beach cleanup event on Saturday, June 20th from 10 a.m. to noon. in partnership with the Surfriders South Bay Chapter and the South Bay LGBT Center. Our local beaches are stewarded by volunteers. We welcome all to an engaging day of raising awareness about litter and plastic pollution while also engaging myself and city staff in conversations on any topic. Meet up at the 10th Street, that has 10th Street, south of the pier. Please see the city's events calendar to sign up for more details. And then last, we'll be hosting Community Emergency Response Training, other known as CERT. The LA County Fire Department will be hosting a free CERT team training on Saturday, June 27th from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. The Hermosa Beach Council Chambers right here. CERT training provides residents with valuable emergency preparedness, disaster response, and basic life-saving skills to help support their families, neighbors, and the community during emergencies. The training is open to anyone 16 years of age or older. For registration and additional information, please visit the city's website, and you can see the information on the screen right now. And that'll take us to approval of the agenda. Looking for a motion to approve or any modifications?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Madam City Clerk, could we have voting, please?
Councilmember Jackson,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Keegan,
Aye.
Councilmember Seaman,
Aye.
Mayor Detoy,
Aye.
Councilmember Francois.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
I'll take us to proclamations and presentations. Could you queue up our first, our only presentation? Proclamation. Proclamation is recognizing Hermosa, declaring June as Pride Month in the city.
Thank you.
I don't know if there's a representative that would like to come and speak. Perfect.
There we go. Hello. Thank you, Mayor Detoy and council members. We very much appreciate this proclamation. Today, I stand here as a representative of Hermosa Beach Pride, but I also stand here today as a neighbor. I see some very familiar faces here and had the opportunity to raise our kids together and cheer from the sidelines together. Some have even coached my kids that are here today. We've traveled together and we've built our lives in this community together, and that's what makes this recognition today especially meaningful. This proclamation is important not only for Hermosa Beach Pride, but for the larger LGBTQ community, peoples and families throughout the South Bay. It sends a simple but very, very powerful message that they belong here and they are valued members of our community. Most importantly, Pride in Hermosa Beach has become a celebration of community. It's neighbors supporting neighbors and businesses showing up for one another and people of all backgrounds coming together to celebrate what makes Hermosa Beach a very special place we call home. Thank you very much for this partnership, your support, and for helping make Hermosa such a wonderful place where we all feel welcome and belong. Happy Pride.
Thank you. And I have the proclamation right here. I don't know if you can put it on the screen. It's one of my favorites that we do. So I'll give that to you. Whereas in the month of June, we celebrate Pride Month and join together with our lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgendered, queer, intersex, and asexual community members to celebrate their strength, courage, and perseverance. Oh, I can't read right now. The city of Hermosa Beach is committed to supporting visibility, dignity, and equity for all people in the community, regardless of sexual orientation or gender identity. And whereas many of the residents, students, city employees, and business owners within the city of Hermosa Beach who continue to contribute to enrichment of our city identify with the LGBTQIA+ community, and whereas various advancements have been made with respect to equitable treatment of the LGBTQIA+ community, but there continues to be opposition all around the world, making it important for cities like Hermosa Beach to stand up and show support for our residents who are affected. And whereas LGBTQIA+ Pride Month is celebrated each year during the month of June to acknowledge the historic significance and commemorate the events of June 1969, when an uprising was staged in New York City at the Stonewall Inn against the harassment of LGBTQIA+ persons. And whereas The rainbow flag, also known as the LGBTQIA+ pride flag or pride flag, has been used since the 1970s as a symbol of lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, intersex, and asexual pride and social movement. And whereas lighting up Pier Plaza in the rainbow colors and flying the rainbow flag at City Hall throughout the month of June further symbolizes the city's celebration of diversity and support for the LGBTQIA+. Now, therefore, I, Michael DeToy, Mayor of the City of Hermosa Beach, California, do hereby recognize the month of June 2026 as LGBTQIA+ month and invite everyone to recognize the achievements of the LGBTQIA+ community and celebrate our great diversity, and to reflect on the ways we can all live and work together with a commitment to mutual respect and understanding. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. We appreciate you.
Take us to public comment. Madam City Clerk, do we have anyone for public comment?
Yes, this is a time for members of the public to address the city council on items within the city council's jurisdiction, including items where public comment is not otherwise taken. Public comments are limited to 3 minutes per speaker, and the mayor or city council may adjust this time if needed. If you provide a public comment now on an item that is also listed under public hearings or municipal matters, you will not be able to speak again when that item is heard later in the meeting. You will have a separate opportunity to comment on any items pulled from the consent calendar, as well as on public hearings and municipal matters when those items are called. The first speaker is
Richard G.
Mr. Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, rest of the council and staff, good evening. Thanks for this chance to talk. A couple of quick points, and I'm just going to try to blow through them. As far as parking goes, I just have two little requests to ask for, and that is that the council directs staff to complete a small table. This table has the previous 15 residences, new construction proposals that have been submitted to the city. And the only thing I'm asking for in this table is the number of parking spaces that would be required following our R&Rs versus the actual number of on-site parking spaces that were approved when the project finally got the final go-ahead. The second quick little question would be, how many spaces are going to be lost due to this new rule for the 20-foot setback from all of the crosswalks? Second item, the dog park. I think the city staff did a great job of executing their study, which was looking for an option here in the city of Hermosa. But consider this, and as a distance reference, the Hermosa Strand is about 2 miles long. So less than 2 miles away is a fully functional park that is 10 times larger than what we're looking at. So 2 miles, less than 2 miles away, 10 times larger, it's already functioning. I really don't think we need to try to shoehorn a little thing here in Hermosa proper. Finally, Hermosa has a median household income of $165,000 and an average individual income of that household income was 110 and the individual income is 165. Now, you know, if you can afford a car that costs so much money that your car registration costs $500, I'm sorry, but you can afford $500 plus 5 for a total of $505. The beauty of the tax that is being proposed, again, admittedly, is that that money stays here in Hermosa City. Now, I don't know what the percentage Hermosa gets to keep, but every weekday, and by that I mean every weekday, There are many thousands of dollars in both traffic and dog fines that go by my house. And on the weekend days, it's many tens of thousands. Now, we don't pursue that because, it's all laid back and it's all good here, but that's a lot of money that's being left on the table. Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you, Richard.
Next, we have Sarah H.
Good evening, Mayor, City Council, residents of Hermosa Beach. I'm here with library announcements. As many of you may know, our Summer Discovery Program has begun, and it will be going through August 9th. That's available for all ages. You can come by the library and pick up a game board or sign up online at lacountylibrary.org/summer-discovery. You read 3 books, do 3 activities, or read 6 books, and you'll be entered into drawings for Amazon Kindle, gift cards, many other things. Come have fun. Coming up for our toddlers, this Saturday, June 13th, and next Saturday, June 20th, we will be having our toddler art time at 10:30 a.m. For our children, this Wednesday, June 10th at 3 p.m., we will have juggling with David Cousin. He is the holder of 5 world records and will present his energetic juggling show that is sure to astonish all ages, generously sponsored by our Hermosa Beach Friends of the Library. On Wednesday, June 17th at 3 p.m., we will be celebrating Juneteenth. Join us in recognition of Juneteenth, enjoy books, learn about the holiday, and decorate a fabric square to add to a community quilt about freedom, family, and community for display in the library. We also have for adults next Wednesday, June 17th at 6 p.m., we will be having a soccer trivia program. Celebrate the summer of soccer and test your soccer knowledge to see who knows the most. You can work as a team or as an individual. We will just show off your knowledge, discover interesting facts about the World Cup, and have fun. Thank you.
Next, we have Jim H.
Good morning, Mayor, Councilmen, members, and staff. I'm here again to speak for an agenda item, and I promise not to get into any of those issues here. But I do want to briefly clarify some of my prior comments on short-term rentals I have said over the past year and a half. To be clear, I'm not part of any short-term rental advocacy group, club, informal, informal. I have no contact with anybody at the platforms. I'm just here for myself and what I believe is best for the city based on my years of experience living next to a gaggle of short-term rentals for a number of years and running my own for about 6. I definitely do not speak in the behalf of other short-term rentals. My comments saying that, I guess it made the internet, that the city should have some rules and regulations, reasonable ones, so that it doesn't get out of hand, prompted some other hosts to call me since then, saying, hey, I agree with you on most of the stuff, but there's rules and regulations that's gonna hurt. I still believe it. They point to Manhattan Beach, who just dropped it and just let it run organically, and so far they have very, very, very few problems. So again, I'm just myself, one person, one voice. Please listen to others. One last thing I want to bring up is that I guess the city sent out an email about to short-term rental hosts last week about a portal. I didn't get one. I get all the other emails about this meeting, about the Pride Week, but I don't know why I got this one. I didn't get this one. I'd like to be on the list. I probably should be the first on the list, but that's another story. Yeah, someone called me up asking me what I felt about it, and I didn't know. I had to dig it out. So whoever's listening, please add me to whatever list that is. Thank you very much.
Next, we have Eric H.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Council, staff. Good to see you. My name is Eric Horn, and I want to speak tonight about short-term rentals. Hermosa Beach is a small town in a big city. People in this town know their neighbors and they care about them, including the 50% of our neighbors who rent. Now, the concern about short-term rentals is not just about party houses and noise complaints. It's also about preserving the sense of community that comes with knowing your neighbors. The city has lost its court case. Short-term rentals are now legal, and I recognize this creates an appealing revenue stream at a time when the city really needs it. But I want us to think proactively about how we preserve our neighborhoods in this new reality. As our housing stock ages, we've seen older apartments every year renovated and long-term residents displaced through no-fault evictions to make way for higher-paying tenants. Now that short-term rentals are legal, I think we should ask whether those same no-fault eviction provisions will be used to convert long-term rental housing into short-term vacation rentals. I fear that they will, and we risk losing families, kids who grew up here and want to stay, and seniors who have spent decades here. So tonight, I ask that the City Council consider working with planning staff and our city attorney to explore whether properties vacated through gut renovation evictions or other no-fault eviction mechanisms should be prohibited from operating as short-term vacation rentals for some defined period of time. The goal would be simple. If a tenant is asked to leave because a property needs major renovations or another legitimate no-fault reason, this process should not become a backdoor way to convert long-term housing into Airbnbs. In doing so, I believe we will also further our housing element policy objectives of maintaining our current existing rental stock, which will put us in good graces with HCD. Finally, I think we should also explore a dedicated short-term rental surcharge tax on top of TOT, which would help offset concerns around increased policing over noise complaints, and it would discourage speculative STR conversions at the margins, generating useful revenue for priorities like the city yard or the pier. I believe that such a measure would receive widespread approval from voters. I've been talking to many of them, and I think that they are concerned, as I am, about the impact of Airbnbs run amok in their neighborhoods. I recognize that this decision was not the one that council would have chosen for itself, but we have the opportunity to think proactively now, and I ask that you take that opportunity. Thank you.
Next, we have Betsy R. Next, we have Elka W.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. I made this presentation about 2 weeks ago at your last budget meeting, and someone told me in the middle of my presentation, your names came up below me, and then a sign went up that said in recess. So I apologize if you're hearing this again, but I want the public to hear me and see me when I make this speech. So I wanted to let you know that I live on Monterey Boulevard and strongly oppose installing parking meters there and on Manhattan Avenue. Monterey Boulevard is not a revenue opportunity. It's a neighborhood where families live, children play, and neighbors walk their dogs. It's definitely not a commercial zone. So it costs a lot of money to install, maintain, and enforce these meters, and that wasn't really discussed. I believe they're going to increase traffic and devalue the parking permits that we have and permanently change the character of these residential neighborhoods. I don't know anyone who wants a parking meter right outside their front door. I mean, they're just ugly. In your recent survey, residents said they wanted to protect their quality of life, yet this proposal does the exact opposite. And once you start monetizing residential streets around the city, it doesn't stop. Today it's Monterey and Manhattan Avenue. Tomorrow it could be Gould, Valley, Silver Strand. Thank you.
I did not receive any more speaker cards, and I do not have any more hands raised online.
Last call for public comment. We will close public comment and bring it back to my colleagues for city council member comments. Looking to my right, Rob.
I have a question. Perhaps this is a question for city manager. The gentleman here was speaking earlier about the new setbacks from the corners impacting parking, and he mentioned 20-foot setbacks. Is that, first of all, first question is that what we're doing? Is that a new setback from the corners?
There's new state law that requires certain setbacks. There are criteria around that we would look at in applying it, but it hasn't been applied citywide. I'm not aware of any city that's applied it citywide yet. And I think, we would look at new ones and what the setbacks would be there. I would look to either our Public Works Director or our attorney, though, to clarify. We can bring something back to council, or we can send also an email, an information email to council if you want more background on that.
Okay, because I know that we do have setbacks now, currently. I don't know if it's 20 feet or not, but.
On some of them, yes. This was an expanded setback.
Yeah. There's a few of them that should be set back even further than they are because the visual is impossible. Sometimes they're so narrow, there's a car actually parked that close to the corner, you can't make the turn. So, it is a safety issue. It needs to be looked at.
If someone has identified a corner, we can go look at it.
Yeah. If there's anybody that's more concerned about parking than me, I'd like to meet him. And so I appreciate the fact that a further setback would impact parking in the city. And I know that we do have setbacks. So I'm just curious if that 20-foot hasn't been implemented yet, and it is a state law.
To my knowledge,
we'll
we haven't implemented it.
Yeah, and we'll have to look at it.
It is a
'cause
new
it's
state law. We can bring back information.
All right, great. That's enough clarification. Thank you, sir.
Dean?
Are we doing the announcements of what we've attended first? Are we doing that? Or? I didn't see it on the agenda. It's just city council member comments, so.
Let's just do the comments first, and then we can do the announcements later. Do you have any comments on public comment?
I attended June 3rd, the representative
We'll
the
do it
city on the LA County Sanitation Board, and we approved some bonds for construction.
Perfect. Mayor Pro
Capital
Tem?
project.
I want to respond to the short-term rental discussion by Mr. Horn. Manhattan Beach has had about 4 years of this, and since they lost their court case, we subsequently filed the same lawsuit and lost also. And the City of Manhattan Beach is collecting about $1.7 million in revenue from those short-term rentals that were in existence. And from what I've learned since I've been on council, some in town say there's between 200 and 300 already illegal ones that we're going after the tax. And so I think what we should probably do is do nothing for a little bit and see how we do on collecting the previous monies. And then if there's not any big complaints, like there isn't in Manhattan Beach, we should go with the facts of our neighbor instead of creating more bureaucracy and more wasted time in meetings, and just sit back and see what happens. And if we collect $1 million or $2 million in revenue from those STVRs that are already in existence, why don't we just let them be? And we can use some of that money to fund some of our infrastructure projects that are shortfalled right now. We don't have much in our budget right now for that. So I do not think we should follow the lead of creating a bureaucracy to end those revenues, because we're going to collect $4 million in back taxes, and we'll soon be collecting almost $1.5 million to $2 million in new revenues. And we should digest those before we do anything.
You have a question for the city manager?
Well, Your Honor, regarding that, just a reminder to council that there is an action item that's going to come back to you on your request regarding rules and regulations that other cities have implemented regarding short-term rentals for your consideration as options, and to begin the community conversation that you want on these.
Okay.
Ray, do you have anything?
Well, I didn't, but since we're talking STVRs, I've got a couple thoughts. I mean, we're jumping all over the place with regard to, we've got a CDP. Some people want to withdraw the CDP.
Ray, I'm going to just look at the city attorney real quick. I don't want to get into a non-agendized issue right now.
Nope.
Multiple people
And
speak.
you would be absolutely correct.
Okay. you have anything else?
Well, could I comment on the Mayor Pro Tem's comment?
I'll look at the city attorney.
Go ahead. Limited, you can have a
Ask the
limited, you
question
can't,
to the city manager. I think that's what this is meant for.
you can have a limited, very limited response. Yes.
Okay, and here's my real concern, and this is for you, Mr. City Attorney. I mean, for years, it's been reported that we've got a city council member who's been involved in short-term rental activity tied to properties they own or control. So if these reports are true, this isn't a gray area. I mean, if we have a council member who has operated or stands to operate short-term rentals, whether based on past activity or future use, then decisions regarding STR legality, enforcement, taxation, penalties, or amnesty may present significant conflict of interest concerns under California law.
Okay,
Mr. Mayor, point of order. We shouldn't be debating this thing, especially when it's a
This isn't a
future
debate.
agenda
This
item.
isn't a debate.
You know,
Okay.
people, this isn't what it's
So I
meant for at all.
recommend, this has not been agendized, so
that's
let's
right.
move on.
Well, yeah, okay, but you let the Mayor Pro Tem speak about
That was,
what he wants.
yeah, one person speaking, I feel is a little bit different
Thank you.
than multiple
You know, so-
opining.
My point is this, Mr. City Attorney, and this is for you. If an elected official has benefited financially in the past, is benefiting now, or stands to benefit in the future from short-term rental activity or
Ray,
policy,
You don't know any of that.
the public deserves transparency regarding that interest and how it is
Ray,
being
we hear you.
used. Pardon me?
You can provide, if you can provide that information, what you have to me, you know, we can go that route.
I'm doing it now.
Okay,
We had the Mayor Pro Tem speaking.
Mr. Mayor, point of order.
Short-term rental.
This council here should not be discussing a future agenda item. It hasn't been
not a future
agendized.
agenda item.
It hasn't been
need you
agendized, and this
interrupting
should come up
Hold on, Ray, let him
when we
talk.
make it.
I recommend that we move forward. This is
Okay,
not on the agenda.
we're done with STVRs.
Thank you.
Any other comments?
All right. I just hope that you
Ray.
do an investigation. We need
Ray.
transparency
Ray.
and honesty
Please.
in this process.
We're not going to get,
You don't interrupt.
Mr. Mayor, could you rule on my point of order, please? Is this out of order?
I already shut down the conversation. I'm trying to shut it down. It's a little bit harder virtually when we can't really control.
Rule on it,
I'm done.
and we'll
I'm
take a
done.
vote.
I'm done.
When I shut it down,
I'm
Yeah.
done, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
this is enough for ruling.
Thank you.
I'm not going to get into tit for tat for this, so.
I'd like to just say something. Mr. Jackson, your accusations are unfounded, and your facts are so confused. You must have missed a lot of class in law
Okay, hey.
school. I'll be
Uh,
done with
we-
it.
I didn't say anything about you, Keegan.
We're done.
We stopped it.
Okay, council member comments are closed. We'll take it to consent calendar. Looking for a motion to approve consent calendar, pull any items.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion second. Madam City Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Mayor Detoy,
Aye.
Councilmember Francois,
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson,
Aye.
Councilmember Seaman,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Keegan.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
I guess 15 is here. Any other updates on city council activities? Seeing none, we'll move to public hearings. Madam City Clerk, can you, 16A will be continued to June
23rd.
23rd. Do we still have to open up for public comment? Mr. City Attorney?
You can, or since we're moving it, you can go at the later date, so I guess, how do you want to handle it?
Either way.
Okay.
I mean, if there's people here who were planning on talking to it, I mean, you can give them the opportunity to do so since they're here.
It was continued for noticing issues, Your Honor.
So if anyone is here to talk about the adopting fees from a fee study, you can come speak to it, but it will be heard in entirety at June 23rd.
There's no request on Zoom, no raised hands.
Okay. Then we will continue that item until June 23rd with all the noticing requirements. That'll take us to 16B. This public hearing is now open, and it's to clarify the Kelly Pickleball Court's policy item and adopt a resolution to modify annual pickleball membership and hourly reservation fees.
Mr. Mayor, as I stated before, I plan on making a point of order on this.
Go ahead.
I discussed it with the city attorney as well. Before we discuss item 16B, The record shows that the council adopted a policy on March 24th, reservation only, all days with fee, Friday open, play free. Staff report tonight confirms that, and the staff then implemented walk-on play, or continued the walk-on play, which is different from what we adopted. Under Robert's Rules, Section 35, changing an adopted policy requires a motion to amend, and something that's previously adopted that requires 2/3 vote, or a majority with prior notice, and the agenda says clarification, not motion to agenda. So the Brown Act must describe the action being taken, and the intent tonight is to change reservation only to walk on, and therefore, I believe this is out of order. Thank you. And if there's, I'd appreciate if you could rule it out of order unless anyone objects to this.
Look to the city attorney.
Well, I had previously advised Councilmember Francois that I disagreed with him. There's proper notice on this action. The public has notice of it. This clarification is proper. There's no Brown Act violation. Brown Act, you were raising procedural. Brown Act's not procedural. So I do not agree with removing the item. I don't think it's legally necessary. So that's my opinion.
Okay, thank you. Let the record reflect that I've made that objection. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Francois. I know we've talked about this quite a bit, but I don't know if there's anything else to clarify in the staff report. Do you have a presentation prepared, or is it, I assume, briefer than normal? More brief?
It's more brief.
Perfect.
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, and council members. This item is to formally adopt the resolution updating the city's master fee schedule to reflect the pickleball fees previously approved by City Council on May 12, 2026, including a $25 annual membership fee and a $12 per hour reservation fee for residents. Second, staff is seeking clarification regarding the Kelly Pickleball Court's use policy. At the March 2024 meeting, City Council approved designating courts 1 through 4 for reservations on all days except Friday, which were designated as walk-on play only. Staff interpreted that direction to mean reservations would be prioritized and accommodated on all non-Friday days, while still allowing walk-on play during periods when courts were not reserved, as that is the process we have followed for the community center tennis courts. Based on that interpretation, the policy language presented to council states that courts 1 through 4 are available for reservation and walk-on play, except on Fridays when all courts are designated for walk-on play only and are not available for reservations. Staff's recommendation is to maintain the current policy language. Limiting all non-Friday court use exclusively to reservations would be operationally difficult to administer and enforce. Reservations vary by court and by hour, and there's no same-day reservations. Staff are also not permanently assigned to the facility, and there is no mechanism to prevent walk-ons on individual courts between reservation periods. Allowing walk-on play during unreserved periods maximizes public access, prevents courts from sitting vacant, and again is consistent with the operational approach currently used at the community center tennis courts. And in addition, staff recommends City Council adopt the resolution allowing for the updated pickleball fees to be in effect upon the court's reopening. That does conclude my staff report, and I'm available for any questions.
Mr. Mayor. Thank you for your report. And this is a very simple, easy question. The walk-on play that is permitted during the unreserved time periods, that walk-on play is first come, first serve.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Yes.
And how is that kept track of? Is there a clipboard up there, and first guy to get there says, oh, 2 o'clock's open, and signs in to it? Is that how it works? Or you'd have to phone into the city or do an app? Or
It's just if there's no reservation during that hour, the public is more than welcome to just walk on and utilize the courts as they're open.
So there's no place to sign up or anything?
No.
If, let's just, again, my same thing, it's 2 o'clock hour is open, and it's 1:30 and you're there first, somebody else gets there a little while later and they say, oh no, we were here first, how is that? those disputes sort of handled? Isn't there some place to sign, so you say, well, I'm sorry, I signed in already?
Yeah, so we haven't had any issue with that in the past, but for example, if we're using the community center tennis courts, people are limited to 1 hour of singles and 2 hours of doubles for play. So just a general rule of thumb, you know.
So there is no method of actually proving that you were there first or anything?
Not at this time, no.
It's just be fair about it?
Correct,
Okay,
yes.
that's fine. Thank you.
Dean?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So you mentioned that by having this policy of no walk-ons presents an enforcement problem. What did you mean by that, enforcement problem for staff?
So if there's no reservations, let's say at 1 p.m., and someone walks on at 1 p.m., there would be no mechanism for staff to go down there and check it, unless staff are leaving the office and going and checking on every single vacancy that isn't booked by residents.
That's if you were directed, that's if you were given direction by the city manager to go down there and enforce that, but essentially it doesn't need to be enforced. It would almost have the same effect of having walk-on courts allowed, right? We're saying they're not allowed. If someone comes on and uses it, well, they're using it, but they're not allowed. But basically, if someone wants to use it legitimately, they need to make a reservation.
Correct, but we don't do same-day reservations.
Right, sure, understood.
So I'm not sure I understand what
Well,
you're asking in terms
so
of
the
walk-ons.
enforcement problem you're referring to is a problem that only exists if you choose to enforce someone not using the courts when they're not supposed to be. Otherwise, if you don't enforce it, it's not a problem, right? Is that what you're basically saying? You're forced into enforcing this?
So the only way we'd be able to manage a reservation system only on the other days except for Friday is if staff were either physically there or consistently monitoring those available slots. Is that what you're referring to?
Well, if it's walk-on, they wouldn't be monitoring it anyway. So what's the difference between whether it's walk-on or whether people aren't allowed? I don't quite follow that.
So if it were to be reservation only, staff would either have to lock the courts, as previously mentioned. So walk-ons are available for our facilities right now, basketball, tennis, and whatnot. But if it was reservation only, I'm not sure we wouldn't be able to enforce people not being able to walk on.
I think the issue, Councilmember, is that if you're saying that people aren't allowed to play on it at a certain time, whether you have someone physically going down and enforcing it or not, there's an expectation of enforcement by the public.
Okay.
And that's why the position that staff is trying to present to council is that rather than have an expectation of enforcement, if there's not a reservation during reservation times, you're allowing someone to utilize it without violating any rules.
I mean, I suspect that we adopted this policy to give it incentive for people to pay to reserve and use it and not walk on when they can. And also we had this compromise with people with the noise. And the neighborhoods were concerned about noise, and noise was occurring more during walk-ons because people are going down wondering who's playing and who's not, and there's more congregating of people as opposed to reservations. So I thought that maybe that was the compromise that was involved in creating that reservation-only policy. So,
I don't think
okay, I have no more questions. Thank you.
I don't think there's any compromise because we gave them what they asked for with a ton of hours. So I think
Yeah, we compromised
there
the
was
hours now.
no
too.
compromise because you gave them full access as opposed to going back to what we were.
Right.
The only way to limit is otherwise we have to have a court.
We'd have to have a monitor,
Monitor
and we'd have to
there.
have staff locking up after every single reservation and then unlocking for the next reservation. And
Well, that's only if you need to lock it. You don't need to lock it. It's just not allowed. I mean, Anyway.
Otherwise, it turns into a bureaucratic mess. Any other questions, Mayor Protem or Ray?
No questions.
I know we did get one email today asking about the status of the courts and the actual CIP project. I don't know if Joe or City Manager, you can speak to it.
For the completion of the tennis courts, I think I saw.
I think it was just pickleball.
Pickleball and tennis. Yeah, and Joe's back here, but we did engage a completion contractor.
Is that okay, Mr. City Attorney? I want to.
As a point of information.
Just a point of information, and this is agendized that we're going to be talking about, so I think that's fair enough.
Mayor, Council, as the city manager noted, we brought on a completion contractor at the last council meeting. We're working on getting all the contract documents together to get them started. They're still working on their insurance requirements. Once that gets going, we're going to schedule the work for the grind and overlay of the court. The court is going to require 30 days curing time before they can put the surface on. So we're tentatively looking at a potential reopening sometime in August, but that's still subject to the final schedule once the contractor is mobilized and ready to go. But tentatively, end of August.
And then just for general comments on this, the only reason why it was a public hearing is because of the increase in the master fee schedule, correct? Otherwise, it's just a municipal policy and it could be under community matters or
Right.
just the fee aspect of it, okay. All right. No other questions? We'll open up public comment.
We did not receive any speaker cards for this item, and I do not have any hands raised online.
Pickleball item without pickleball players talking. Last call, no public comment. We will close public comment and bring it back to the council for a motion.
Make a motion to approve staff recommendation.
Second.
We have a motion from Mayor Protem and a second from Councilmember Seaman. Any comments?
So, may I, Mr. Mayor, is that to reaffirm the Kelly Courts policy that we adopted then? Is that what that is?
It's per what's on your agenda.
Recommendation to maintain the Kelly pickleball court use policy. Available for
So
reservations
we're
and walk-on
moving to
play except
affirm
for
that the
Friday.
policy as adopted is reservation only all days and
And-
Friday open play.
And walk-on play except for Fridays.
All right.
Number one.
It's both number 1 and 2.
Correct. But I think his questions is all in one.
Okay.
All right.
Just want to make sure the motion is clear.
So with that, Madam City Clerk.
Councilmember Seaman?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Keegan?
Aye.
Councilmember Francois?
Abstain.
Mayor Detoy?
No.
Councilmember Jackson?
No.
Motion fails.
Is there another motion?
So, Mr. Mayor, if no motion is made, then the policy exists as we adopted it last time. Is that correct?
I will look to the city attorney on that. I don't want to misspeak.
Well, the action that you took at the previous meeting stands.
Okay.
They wanted clarification, so basically you're not providing them clarification. Right?
Thank you. All right.
Is there any other motions?
No?
Not even adopting the master fee schedule, huh?
I'll do that, sure. I'll make a motion to adopt the master fee schedule on the annual pickleball membership and hourly reservation fee. Can I get a second?
I'll second that.
All right, so this is just the second part of staff's recommendation. Any questions? Madam City Clerk?
Councilmember Francois?
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson?
No.
Mayor Detoy?
Aye.
Councilmember Seaman?
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Keegan?
Aye.
Motion passes 4-1 with a no vote by Councilmember Jackson.
Any other will from my colleagues to make any other motions on this item, or should we close the public hearing?
I move to close public hearing.
All right, the public hearing is now closed, and we'll move on to 16C. Introduction of an ordinance to amend Hermosa Beach Municipal Code, Chapter 1230, Special Events on Public Property, 1230.010, and 12.30.030, and adoption of a resolution to establish new special event permit program fees. This public hearing is now open, and welcome back.
Thank you, Mayor Detoy. I will not repeat that title, and I'll go to the next slide. At its April 2026 meeting, the Parks and Recreation Advisory Commission recommended that the City Council approve the proposed special event policy guide and associated fee updates as outlined in the staff report with consideration of feedback from the commissioners. I would like to address that there was an oversight at this commission meeting regarding this motion. For the record, there was a 6th commission modification to the special events policy guide, and I appreciate the public bringing forward this issue. The recommendation was regarding requiring event applicants to detail anticipated economic benefits and to prove appears to be a substantive policy issue that could help council evaluate community value, support for local businesses, and the use of public resources. As the Parks and Recreation Commission approved these 6 recommendations, the public record should accurately reflect all 6. As that recommendation was approved by Commission, Council should have the opportunity to consider it at tonight's meeting. At its May 2026 meeting, City Council approved staff's recommendation with consideration of such feedback from the Commission on the Special Event Policy Guide and associated fee updates to amend policies and fees related to these special events on public property. Based on that review and subsequent Commission and Council direction, this item tonight would allow for the following policy and fee updates listed on the slide before you, as well as in the staff report. These changes will increase our department's overall efficiency by standardizing workflows to reduce staff hours spent on routine application processing and permit coordination, allotting us more time to dedicate to residents and the community. Therefore, staff recommends that City Council introduce the ordinance by title only and waive the first reading to amend policies and fees related to special events on public property, and to adopt the resolution establishing new special event permit program fees. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll look to my colleagues for any questions. Councilmember Francois.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. In one of the policies that was recommended, well, our fees are tied to if there's a public hearing scheduled, then the applicant pays the cost for the public hearing. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes.
Which is great. That's showing cost containment. And the director has the ability to decide whether there's an impact enough to justify a public hearing.
Yes.
Is there anything written with criteria of when an impact is enough to justify a public hearing?
Yes, so with our character matrix, depending on street closures, getting assistance from Public Works, PD, when it involves a lot more multiple departments involved, in our special event policy guide, it's our characteristic matrix, which is on page.
So that's listed in the proposed ordinance we have? Because I didn't see it.
Well, that's more of a policy.
Well, okay, so there's no written policy of what the criteria is then?
There is. It's on page 3 of our current policy. It's the impact characteristic matrix.
So is this proposed ordinance or resolution? Which is it?
It's both. So, well, it's an introduction of the ordinance to amend the municipal code and adoption of a resolution to establish the new fees, but it's only pertaining to municipal code, to my understanding. It's not in terms of policy. That's not explicitly written in the municipal code.
So I guess as I understand this, Mr. City Manager, the director has wide ability to decide. There's no specific written. All it says is at the discretion of the director.
As been said, it's a policy, an internal policy of Parks and Rec Department where it is written down, correct?
Yeah, and
It's just not contained in the resolution or the
Well,
ordinance.
it's written down, was it a handbook? Is it where is it? I haven't seen it. That's why I'm a little concerned about not having a policy. A new director could come in and say, well, you know, they feel it's different. I mean, I'm just wondering what kind of policy exists that makes that determination, because this way it's written here, it just says upon determination of the director.
I think we went over this a little bit last time. For example, the Nike event, it involves multiple street closures, a high level of city involvement with LA County Fire Department, Public Works, Police Department. It's not explicitly written.
Yeah. I mean, I don't care to tie this whole thing up with that, but maybe what we could do is have something on the consent calendar in the future that presents us with that written policy so we know what it is, because I haven't been able to figure out what that policy is, and I think it's important for all of us to know.
The second read will be on consent for this, and I think, is that something that,
We can add that to
we
the
add that
second reading.
to the second
Okay.
reading?
And if council has an issue with it, then we can go back to a first reading.
Perfect, okay. Thank you very much. Let's see. The other question I had on the reasoning that the recommendation was to move this limited number of events in the summer months to citywide instead of just the coastal areas. That means that if we've reached the maximum and a business up on Aviation far from the coastal area wants to put on an event, they would essentially be excluded. Is that right? Because we're maximizing the number of events in the summer months. Is that essentially what could occur here?
We're expanding it citywide versus just the coastal areas. So if we hit 50 event days during peak season and a new applicant on Aviation proposes a special event outside of that coastal area, then they would not be considered because it would meet the city's maximum.
Okay. Is there some, like, if that were to occur, is there some appeal process involved where they could make an appeal to add another event, or would it just be denied completely?
That could be up, I'm sure, to the commission or council's jurisdiction if you guys would like to make an.
So there's no policy right now that states there's an appeal process?
No.
If it gets denied, so we're
It's
limited.
just the limit of.
We're limited to 50 and that's it, and, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
No.
Ray? I don't see you on the screen, so. Oh, is it no?
No questions.
All right. Thank you for the report. We will open up for public comment.
We do not receive any speaker cards, and we do not have any hands raised online for this item.
One last call for public comment. We will close public comment and bring it back for a motion. Deliberation. Rob?
I'll move staff recommendation.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion on the motion? This will come back for a second read, so we'll have ability to discuss it further. Seeing no other conversation, we will close the public hearing. And Madam City Clerk, please open the voting.
Mayor Pro Tem Keegan,
Aye.
Councilmember Francois,
Yes.
Mayor DeToy,
Aye.
Councilmember Jackson,
Aye.
Councilmember Seaman.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
All right. Take us to 17A, appointments to the boards and commissions. Turn it over to you, Martha. Oh,
Yes.
there's a presentation.
So Honorable Mayor and City Council members, earlier today, the City Council conducted interviews for the boards and commission vacancies. The City Clerk's office received 15 applications. One was withdrawn prior to the interviews by applicant Matthew Kidd. Rebecca Noble withdrew her Public Works application, but asked to still be considered for the Civil Service Board. This evening, you will be filling in 3 vacancies. If there are no questions from the City Council, I recommend we first open the floor to public comments before we begin the appointment process.
Okay. Any questions for staff right now?
I do. There was a question as to what, perhaps it's a little bit early, but not, maybe not, what method of voting we would have for this, nominations and so on. Do we want to have that discussion now or afterward?
I think after public comment.
Yes.
Okay, fine.
And Ray, I don't see you. So do you have any questions?
No questions.
All right. And we will open up public comment.
Again, I do not see any hands raised online, and we did not receive any speaker cards for this item.
All right, we'll close public comment. First order of business would be voting methods. We got emailed 2 kind of options. One is more verbal-based motion. Everyone nominates. I don't know if you want to describe both of them or if we kind of know as a council which way we want to go.
Because we do have Councilmember Jackson offside, we do have to do a verbal vote. So the option would be that we either get 4 names from each council member at a random order. I called you guys, and then we tally, and then we make a decision based on that. Or the other option, we go through the second option, and it's all still all verbal, where I go down the list, I get the names, and then we identify a position, and we do each individual position by itself.
Should we take care of the Civil Service Board first and get that over with?
Sounds like a great idea. Are there any nominations for the Civil Service Board?
I'll move Rebecca Noble, only one that applies.
I'll second that.
Oh, there's a lot of seconds.
Too late.
All right, so we have a motion to place Rebecca Noble on the Civil Service Board. Noble, sorry. Is there any conversation on that? Can we get a roll call vote, please?
Mayor DeToy?
Aye.
Councilmember Seaman?
Aye.
Councilmember Jackson?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Keegan?
Aye.
Councilmember Francois?
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0, nominating Rebecca Noble for that seat.
Congratulations. And one thing I forgot to mention, I think all of us kind of echo the same comments, is, it's amazing that we have, A, that we live in this community, B, that, we have so many qualified people that applied for these positions and wanted to raise their hands to serve. So thank you to all the people who put in for these positions. I can't tell you the last time we had 14 people apply for a commission. Just a reminder that in 2 years, there'll be 3 seats that are up. And, there might be only 3 people that apply next time. It kind of ebbs and flows. Sometimes it's, as many people apply for the seats. So for 2 seats, 14 people is quite impressive. So thank you for everyone who interviewed. And my intention, knowing it's such a big group, if we want to put forward 2 names or 4 names apiece, that way it's we narrow down the field initially. But
You mean
to my
for
colleagues.
method 2 or method 1?
Well, method 2 is you just nominate 2 people, one person?
We can do it by seat and then nominate 2 or 3 names, and then we go from there.
So each person will nominate 2 to 3 people.
Should we decide on method 1 or method 2?
Well, method 1 we can't really do with the paper.
Yes, because Councilmember Jackson
All
is
right, let's do
offside. Mhm.
So
I can send you my votes, Madam City Clerk, and you can put the paper on there if you want.
Sounds good. We can also do that.
Okay.
What is the will of the council?
So how many, I guess I'm trying to find out, how many do you want us to select off the list? Because I've got to think, I was thinking of 2, but I don't know. Do you want us to pick?
If we want to do 2, we can do
Still
2.
do anything you want. Yeah.
Why don't we try and get one done easily, and then the second one, we can go into another.
You mean 1 seat at a time?
Yeah, one seat at a time, and let's see how it happens. I think we should open it up to the floor if anyone wants to nominate someone, and we'll see if that person makes it.
I nominate Aaron Bender.
I second it.
Any conversation on the nomination? All
Good
those-
nomination for me. I support it.
All those in favor for Aaron Bender for the first seat? Madam City Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Seaman?
No.
Mayor Detoy?
Aye.
Councilmember Francois?
Yes.
Councilmember Jackson?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Keegan?
Aye.
It passes 4-1.
All right, congratulations, Ms. Bender. Now, second seat.
I nominate Kathy Dunbabin.
Quick question, do we need seconds for these, if they're nominations?
Yes.
Yes, do a second for nomination, and then that's the incumbent that's asking for reappointment.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't think nominations need a second, but I'll second that.
Time for discussion, or we vote?
Discussion?
Beg your pardon?
Is there any discussion on this? Or any other nominations, I guess it would be.
Yes.
I was going to nominate Nate Flory.
I'll second that.
Discussion.
Any other nominations?
I nominate Edward Casey.
I mean, he was in my top four, so I'll second that one as well. Can you second this many people? I don't know.
Yeah, we don't second nominations, correct?
I mean, I
I
think,
also had Mr. Toomey in my top.
I nominate Mr. Navarrete.
I'll second that.
all right, do we have a list going?
So far we have Edward Cassie, Kathy Dunbabin, Nate Flory, Becca Navarrete, and David Tomei.
Toomey. Good Casey, right?
Just repeat those one more time. Dunbabin.
Edward Casey, Kathy, Nate Flory,
I can't
Becca
understand.
Navarrete, and David Tomei.
We're down to 5. There's no other nominations.
Edward Casey was the other one?
Flory, Casey, Toomey, Navarrete, Dunbabin.
Navarrete. And, okay.
A lot of good candidates. They're very well
Phenomenal.
qualified. We have
Time
quite
for discussion.
massive amount of people.
Rob?
I nominated Kathy Dunbabin for a number of reasons. She was actually on the council that created the Public Works Commission. I think that's something very unique and special. It also demonstrates her institutional knowledge of this city, being here for so many years and actually being on city council, being mayor at one point. I think she's the most qualified of the applicants to be on this commission again. And if she wants to serve again, I think that's a great honor to have her back. She is really qualified to be on any commission in this city. So the fact that she wants to be on this, I think, is just really fortunate for us. So her institutional knowledge, her many, many years of dedicated work, and her many years of experience on this commission, I think qualifies her completely. That's my comments.
Thank you. Any other comments?
Sure, Mr. Mayor, if I could.
Yes, sir.
Couldn't agree more with the comments of Councilmember Seaman. Big fan of Kathy and all she's done for this city for all of her years. I just think it's time that we look at something new, something fresh. Mr. Flory offers an AI background. I think that we all know is something the city could benefit from. I think he brings a different perspective. He's very community oriented, and I think could help bridge the gap that we are missing between departments, but more particularly and more importantly, I think with the community, because of the impact that Public Works has on everyday life. And if we can bridge that divide, then I think that's it's worthy of his appointment. But again, I can't thank Kathy Dunbabin enough for all she's done for this community, and her efforts are second to none. There are very few resumes as impressive as hers.
It's funny, everyone always asks the toughest votes we have on city council, and I think these are some of them.
Yes.
Any other discussion? Any recommendations on how we get from 5 to 1?
I can call on each council member, and you have 2 votes, and we narrow it down from there.
Perfect. I like that recommendation.
What are we
guys
gonna
good with
do
that? You get 2 votes.
2 votes.
We
From
narrow
those
down the list.
5 people.
Do we have to vote for 2?
Yeah.
You can vote twice.
For the same person?
Sure.
Okay.
No, that's not good. That's going to skew it. Just,
Okay, we'll start with Mayor Pro Tem Keegan.
I'll vote for, gosh, it's tough. I'm going to vote for Beckett Navarrete, and Edward Casey.
Councilmember Jackson.
Flory and Toomey.
Councilmember Francois.
Oh, dear. Dunbabin and Navarrete.
Mayor DeToy.
Flory and, if I was smart, I've been doing rolling tallies, but Dunbabin.
Councilmember Seaman.
Dunbabin and Flory.
So Navarrete received 2 votes. He moves on to the next round. Flory moves to the next round, and Kathy moves to the next round.
Can you say those again, please?
Let me look at their first names. Nate Flory moves to the next round. Kathy Dunbabin moves to the next round.
Is that 3? I'm having trouble hearing you. Could you get that microphone
There
closer?
is 3, yeah.
So there's 3.
Who's got 3?
There's 3 that pass to the next round. Nate Flory, Kathy Dunbabin, and Beckett Navarrete.
Thank you.
Navarrete was the 3rd one, right? Okay.
Right? Yeah, wasn't passed. Okay. Councilmember Jackson,
Are we doing 1 or 2 this time?
1 or 2.
let's do 1.
Flory.
Councilmember Francois.
Which 3 are we voting on? I'm having trouble hearing here.
Flory, Navarrete, and Dunbabin.
Navarrete, Flory, and Kathy Dunbabin.
Navarrete.
Councilmember DeToy.
Flory.
Councilmember Seaman.
Dunbabin.
Mayor Pro Tem Keegan.
Navarrete.
So there's a tie between Nate Flory and Becca Navarrete. So we'll go again, and each person gets 1 vote. Councilmember Francois?
So this is between Floyer and Navarrete, is that right?
Correct.
Okay, Navarrete.
Mayor DeToy?
Flory.
Councilmember Seaman?
Flory.
Mayor Pro Tem Keegan?
Navarrete.
Councilmember Jackson?
Flory.
Nate Flory is seat number 5, member at large for the Public Works Commission with 3 votes.
Congratulations.
Sorry, Floyd had 3 and Navarrete had 2, is that right?
That's correct.
That's correct.
Am I hearing that? Okay, just checking.
So that concludes the appointment process. We will be contacting all the applicants tomorrow morning via email with tonight's results.
I know this might be out of, we normally don't recognize outgoing commissioners at council meetings, but I think it would be very fitting
We certainly can, Your Honor.
to schedule that. Because I think all of us want to say very kind words and gratitude for everything that Kathy's done for the commission, the city, on council, and everything else. So But yeah, thank you to everyone who applied. This is one of our hardest votes that we do, is getting the amazing residents we have in town that want to volunteer their time for our commissions. So thank you. Do my other colleagues have anything else to say?
No, I'll just say, yeah, we had tons of great applicants. It's really good to see. It's good to see the energy and interest from the community. It's great. Keep up the good work. Thank you all for applying.
I just like, that's the closest vote I've seen since I've served 9.5 years. So that's the closest.
Yeah, I did want to comment that this isn't a good system because the person that's voting last gets to see where it's going. So, we had that other system with the papers, and that's why we did it that way. But everyone that voted later had more advantage to get the person they wanted. It's strategically doesn't appear to me to be a great way to do it, but we need to come up with a better system, I think.
I'll agree with that.
Yeah.
Or go back to the one we had.
Yeah, the one we had.
Just to remind,
I think we did good.
and then when is the next time commission spots are open? And
So we will
Extra
start
cheers.
the recruitment next year. We will have a couple of vacancies, so we will start the recruitment in January, and hopefully we'll get a lot more participation from the residents. And then we'll come back to council, we'll schedule the interviews sometime in June, and then we will schedule the interviews on their own and then do the appointment process at a regular council meeting later.
perfect, yeah, we just aligned all of our commissions to kind of set that same time frame up for the months and appoint them from
When is
there.
the next one?
So we'll start advertising in January and then do the appointments in June for next year for Parks and Rec and
Let me look that up, sorry.
Planning.
And we'll set the interviews separate from a council meeting.
Exactly.
Oh, it's so much fun. Come on. But, please, everyone, stay involved who applied. It's a great community, and there's a lot of great opportunities out there. So pay attention to those emails, and we'd love to get you involved.
I really think the interviews can be scheduled right during the regular council meeting. We're going to get done awfully early this evening. We started at 4. I don't think we needed to do that, Anyway, that's my input on that. Separate meeting, that's crazy.
All right. I'll take us to 17B. Mr. Walker, back again. Second to last time.
Yes, second to last time, no big intro here. I'll let Brandon take it. This is our 6th in our series of 7 budget and CIP meetings, and it's really tonight's to answer any additional questions or take additional direction, of course, public input.
Good evening, Mayor, Council. So as the Mayor said, this is the penultimate presentation. I learned that word from the Chief. His vocabulary is quite exquisite. So this is the second to last presentation. Just before we get into the slides, just to give you kind of a brief orientation of where we are right now. So again, this is the sixth presentation of 7 workshops we've held, ranging across from the City Council, commissions, and also the Public Works Commission. So essentially what was presented to council and the community a few workshops ago was that we were facing a $3.2 million structural deficit next fiscal year, mainly driven by increasing operating costs, growing infrastructure investment demands, and limited revenues. It's quite a complex ball of yarn that we had to deal with. Working with the community, working with council, we've been able to appall and kind of present a budget that's both balanced and sits us in a prudent fiscal situation where we are now better financially, budget-wise next year, now today than we were about 2 months ago when we first started our discussions. So again, just a quick overview. We presented the fiscal outlook and told the council and the community about the projected $3.2 million deficit at the end of April. We had a joint Commission, Parks and Rec, Public Works CIP meeting in May. We had departments present their operating budgets and possible reduction targets on the May 12th meeting. We presented council and the community a kind of a buffet of revenue options that we'll touch upon later in the presentation on the 26th. We had a very comprehensive CIP study session with Joe and his team on May 28th. And tonight we're formally presenting kind of a wrap-up of the FY27 proposed budget with our target date of next council meeting, reviewing and formally adopting our FY27 budget that starts July 1 of this calendar year. So again, let's have a quick recap of how we were able to get to our financial situation currently. So staff worked through the numbers for FY27 and through a method of strategic deferrals and some essentially expense reductions, we're able to identify $3.2 million of budget relief that most importantly maintain core services and does not affect the quality of life, which through the survey, Hermosa Beach residents were loud and clear. Maintaining and preserving the quality of life was the #1 priority for this community. And Stephen and the finance team were able to develop a strategy we're deferring vehicle replacement for 1 year, saving $2.1 million, and reducing our general fund reserve, our contingency rainy day fund, by $1.1 million. Again, we were roughly at a 20% reserve level. Industry recommendation is 16%. We will probably hover in the 18 range. So it's still very, very healthy, even though we are deferring contribution to the reserve next fiscal year. On top of that, I think the message was loud and clear from the community is making sure that the city does a review of its operating budget. Where can efficiencies be had? So departments across the board looked at their general fund budgets, and every department contributed, whether it's giving up of vacant positions, looking at operational deferrals, or doing more with less, looking at structural contractual services, equipment, travel, training budgets that would not, if reduced, would not affect community, the quality of life, and core services delivered. So all in all, departments were able to piece together about $1.3 million of reduction savings that are ongoing starting next fiscal year. Sorry, getting trigger happy with the technology was one of my budget reductions in my department. I apologize.
We can afford a new clicker.
Yeah, you able to go back? Sorry. There it is. Unfortunately, technology training was also cut out of my budget, so. Cool. So what were these reductions? Again, I talked about utilizing vacancy management. So just in our department, we identified a vacant position that was recently vacated due to promotion. With our new technology investment in citation processing and our new financial system we are implementing currently, we identified that this position and the resources could be reallocated elsewhere. So we actually reduced headcount in our admin services department. Again, I talked about reducing contractual services, training, and other administrative costs, other vendor efficiencies. It's looking at what can we do without that doesn't affect community services. And lastly, again, most importantly, we're maintaining core services. I think that was the goal going into this budget cycle. What can we do while not affecting or affecting as little as possible the services we provide the community? Supplemental requests. So also included in here are roughly $341,000 in supplemental investments. These were just very, very important to point out, were included and solved for and budgeted for prior to any structural deficit presented to council. So this isn't an additional request above and beyond. These are strategic investments that the departments identified that were embedded within our budget, which we presented to you, solved, and found an additional $1.3 million of savings. So in one of the attachments list out these supplemental requests. More or less, they follow a few themes. One is looking at strategic position reclassification to support recruitment, retention, and succession planning. Again, the dollar impacts are there. No additional headcount. So net, we did not add any additional headcount in this budget. In fact, we actually reduced it. The core of main majority of the $341,000 are public safety and facility improvements through Joe's Shop, including street light repairs, upgrades, security enhancements, focusing on public safety, and mainly a lot of community facility upgrades. What this is essentially showing is Joe's continued, I think, prudent strategy of finding where we can use operational one-time dollars to make capital repairs that can prevent long-term CIP needs. So Joe and his team had really identified a very good selection of mainly community facility upgrades where low-cost investments now can help us avoid long-term repairs in the future. And again, these were all funded in a balanced budget, which we're presenting to council today. So net, what are we talking about? Citywide actions, the deferrals of vehicle replacement and deferring of the general fund reserve will save us $3.2 million next year. The department reductions, all in, will save the general fund $1.33 million. So all net budget relief in FY27, department staff and city manager with council direction have presented a budget with a net $4.5 million savings projected for next fiscal year. Again, a balanced budget achieved with obviously minimal impacts, we believe, to core services and not touching any filled positions within our staff. So what was presented to council and the community on May 26th, and also I'll briefly go over here. We talked about two sides of the coin. I think staff identified where we can do some belt tightening, where we can find operational efficiencies. The other side of the coin is talking about future fiscal years. 27 solved, things are fine now. But with the pier, the city yard, the initial improvement in streets and sidewalks, the county contracts, there is going to be a need in the near future of finding revenue opportunities that can help stabilize and keep us on a long-term stable financial path. They range from visitor-generated revenues, consumer-based revenues, talking about sales tax, sub-parking, dynamic pricing and mobility revenues, city asset optimization, and looking at diversifying some of our economic development and improve sustainability. Again, we got clear direction from council. We will be coming in subsequent meetings with more concrete details of potential revenue options moving forward. So looking ahead, we did get clear direction from council to have a discussion about potential ballot measure initiatives. So that will be coming up in the next few council meetings where council will consider what options we have for the November ballot. Implementation considerations when it comes to dynamic parking. We heard loud and clear from council to revisit our parking citation penalties and front-loading some of the increases. So we are coming back to council next meeting to discuss that. And again, we will continually come in front of council and the community to talk about what our approach is to different revenue enhancement strategies moving forward. So in conclusion, staff is proud to present a balance with a slight savings for FY27 budget, $4.5 million in reduction in deferrals. Again, core services maintained. The number one mantra we've heard from the community over and over again, maintain quality of life, maintain quality of life. That was our North Star when it came to preparing this budget. And again, the budget process may end, the discussion of long-term financial sustainability will continue. We'll continue to have the long-term discussion about revenue solutions, and we'll be coming to council quite often. You will be seeing a lot of me talking about money the next few meetings. So with that, I conclude my presentation and happy to answer any questions.
Thank you for the presentation. And this report has progressed over the various meetings and listening to the stakeholders. A lot of great feedback. So, Rob?
Quick question. Thank you, Brandon. Under city asset optimization, are you referring to the possible development of parking lot A and D and various properties that the city owns around?
Yes, no concrete details in place now, but I think the two main aspects or focus areas are the self-storage lot next door and Lot A. Lot A is a crown jewel. We're talking about the location, the square footage, and also the self-storage lot next door will probably be our main focus.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Dean?
I just had a question on overtime. We brought it up before. I believe it was about $2 million of overtime that is being spent right now. $1.5 million or $2 million, I'm not sure what it was.
It's between that, between police and mainly Public Works, and we've got both the chief here and the director of Public Works to discuss those. A lot of it is forced overtime from the needs that are out there.
I'm just wondering, a lot of organizations come up with overtime policies where the head of each department goes to the manager at the end of the week of what their expected overtime would be for the following week, and it gets approved by the city manager. Obviously, once overtime is taken, you have to pay it. There's no question about that. But if you develop this, it makes the manager more aware of how much overtime is being spent and tries to see if they can come up with a goal to reduce it. I mean, is it possible we could implement something like that here at City Hall?
I can certainly talk to the department heads about that. In terms of having them discuss it, things come up is the issue. When we have for instance, we just had an incident, right, a police incident down in the south part of town with a home invasion. Well, some of the cops there who would normally turn over in a shift probably didn't go home and got overtime for that. Well, the chief doesn't have time to come talk to me beforehand.
No.
So
I'm talking about a weekly basis where the estimation of how much overtime is needed, and then you keep track how much was actually spent, and you just, it's a way to scrutinize it. It's a way to tap it in the butt a little bit, and obviously, once overtime is taken, they have to be paid. There's no question about that. But aside from that, if we have these controls in place, it's a way to control it. I mean, especially if departments are fully funded, they shouldn't be, overtime shouldn't be expected to be that much. Naturally, there's always circumstances, but, then they come back the week after, well, the reason it was high was because this, and this. I don't know if that, overtime is such a costly thing to have to pay time and a half or double when we're fully staffed and we're paying regular pay for what we're getting. And then you add benefits and anything else on it. I don't know. Does this take a council action, or is that something you could consider putting together?
We've tried, we're looking at breaking it down. We've got some breakdown from Public Works right now. Police is more difficult to break down the overtime and which is assigned to whom. But what we can do, I would recommend if council desires that, to break that out, make that a separate consideration. We'll bring back a plan to how we can address that. Right now, it'd be very time intensive for police to go through all the different slips over the time to figure out where overtime was spent. But we can certainly look at that and bring that back separately for your consideration.
I mean, we need to look at what time is being spent on. And as you know, we do these budget issues with Parks and Recs and some of the others, and we're trying to get a hold of it. And we realize that we're not really, we could really improve at accounting for what time is being accounted for. And we really need to step up to the plate and do more of that. So we know that staff's this is what's being spent, and that's why we're raising fees appropriately.
Councilor, I certainly want to emphasize, though, that staff has heard council loud and clear over these meetings that we want greater control on overtime, and they certainly have looked at that to reduce that. Now, if approvals are a greater control that provide council comfort with that, we can do that. I think we're still doing the analysis of overtime right now, so I'd like to complete that and bring that back separately.
Well, so do you need 3 council members to propose as a future agenda item, or are you going to take that under?
If that's what council wants, I would appreciate the direction because it is time intensive.
Well, I'm in favor. If there's 2 others that want to go ahead with something like that, we can bring it back.
Right now.
Oh, we can do it now. It's part of the budget agenda.
Still have public comment. So
What's that?
This is questions for staff. We have not had public comment yet.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Anything? Ray?
No questions, sir.
All right, we'll open up for public comment. Thank you, Brandon, and your whole team.
We did not receive any speaker cards, and I don't see any hands raised online. Oh, yes. Sorry about that. First speaker is Jim H.
I knew I did. Good evening, Mayor, Councilmen, members, and staff. I tried to set up my account on Deckard Portal for the STR-TOT compliance, and I immediately have some concerns because I'm already collecting TOT and I really want to pay it. It's just sitting there in my escrow account, and I'd rather have the city have it. But the portal is asking for questions that have nothing to do with paying TOT. Everybody else has this form where you just put in all your receipts and multiply the percentage. I have to say how many rooms, parking, and the key one is max occupancy. Now, I have a small place. I don't want to have a lot of people in there because that would bother the neighbors. I don't want 8 people using one shower. That's not good, right? So I get to decide each one. As people ask, hey, you say 6, can I do 7? Sometimes it works. Last weekend, actually, right after I stopped, and it asked me under perjury what my maximum occupancy, and again, it has nothing to do with me paying TOT. Like 10 minutes later, I got, hey, we're going to a funeral. Your place is perfect. We have 5 kids. Could you take us? Well, that's perfect. 3 of them can't even use the shower. They have to take a bath together. And they stayed inside most of the time. My neighbors weren't bothered. My place was fine afterwards. So it all worked out. But if I filled out that form and hit the perjury button. 10 minutes later, I'm committing perjury. It doesn't make any sense to me. So my question is the city tax collection portal also collecting regulatory short-term rental information that could be later used to impose operating conditions? If it's simply TOT collection, I'd be happy to provide all the tax data and, that the standard form allows. If the city is using the tax portal to collect information that you can use later, please identify the legal authority and explain if the Coastal Commission review is required. Until that's clarified, I'm asking the city to allow manual filing through the city's TOT return or another method that doesn't require accepting private vendor one-sided TO terms of service, which is another thing. If I put in the information and they botch it, if I say, hey, here's $10,000, and they say, oh, through the city, $10, I can get fined, penalized, even accused of fraud. And if I have to pay $5,000 in penalties because of their mistake, I go to them, sorry, you signed this TOS, and we don't owe you anything. So we need a better way on this, and I would love to pay, and please help me with that. Thank you.
Next, we have Alan J.
Evening, Council. I recently posted in our community Facebook forum requesting ideas of how we're going to close the deficit gap that is inevitably coming in future years. Unfortunately, the most common answer we got was simply cut costs with not anything much more specific than that. It appears many members of our community seem to think our fiscal challenges are just going to be solved by reducing wasteful spending. And arguably, 3 of the 5 sitting council members, that's the idea you campaigned on. So here we are, without naming names, you got your guy. What now? To be fair, I think Steve and his team have done an excellent job here. I feared we were going to be spending down our reserves already this year, but Steve and his team have done a level best to find ways to save costs. We just talked about it, reduce held vacancies. We've got all of our departments to reduce costs. But I think the staff is screaming to us, that's not going to be enough. There is going to have to be revenue raising. And I fear, it's tough because we don't get to actually hear you guys speak on this before, but I fear where this council is leading from comments from potential council candidates is that we're relying too heavily on voter-approved initiatives to come up with this funding gap. ER at the county level seems like it's just passed, which may make it that much more difficult for us to convince our community to raise sales taxes another 1%. TOT, whether we're going to be continuing that within this voting cycle, to be determined. So if those are only options and those things don't pass, I think we're in a lot of trouble, and we need to start vocalizing and talking about other ways that the city is going to raise revenue. And a lot of it, it's not just filling this operating deficit that we're going to continue to see. If we are really going to be serious about the city yard and our pier, we need to start figuring out ways we're going to make revenues, even if that's paying down the bonds that we're never going to have to take out to fund these things. So I think this council needs to start seriously considering the things about expanding parking. I won't go over the whole list. The city has presented it. I'm sure it's in the staff report. I've received a lot of pushback, obviously, from this community over the past few weeks. Some of it constructive. Admittedly, a lot of it is vitriol over Facebook and somehow text message. I'm not sure how people got my number. Based on the comments regarding fiscal responsibility, and some of it, yes, directed at the police department. And I'm totally fine with that. I get that I'm welcoming criticism by choosing to be outspoken, and I'm pretty unfazed by the trolls generally. But I want to make something absolutely clear. I am not anti-police. I actually very much like living in a city that has its own police department. I grew up in a town that's staffed with the LA Sheriff, so I understand the shortcomings of going with that engagement. That said, I'm unapologetically anti-going broke. We need to decrease costs, and we need to increase revenue from all avenues. I've been consistent about this. I show up at meetings talking about pickleball. I show up at meetings raising fees, reducing fees on landscaping architects. I'm here trying to find every way to squeeze every penny. I even spoke at the Parks and Recs meetings about raising the fees on working families to get summer programs and after-school programs. My family is going to be paying for those things. So I'm trying to be consistent. I really encourage this staff to think of the ideas beyond the voter initiatives, because if we're relying on that coming a year from now and it doesn't pass, we're going to be on our heels once again, having to find ways to raise a lot of money for the 2028 budget. Thank you.
Good evening again, Council. Eric Horn. I want to build on some of the comments that the previous speaker made around the sales tax being a bit of a high volatility play now. I was not expecting the sales tax that the county put forward to pass. It did not look like it passed, and now it is looking like it did pass. 0.5% on top of our 9.75% sales tax would bring us to 10.25. If we were to go for a 1% sales tax this fall, we would be, as far as I know, the second highest sales tax city in America, behind only Gold, Arkansas. I do not think that we're going to have a lot of success with this. That does not necessarily mean that we shouldn't proceed with something. A 50-cent sales tax, I do still think, with proper spending reductions in the next 2 weeks, and a fiscal path that we can convince voters that you guys have scraped the bottom of the barrel in efficiencies and spending cuts, could still get broad voter support because people understand what's at stake. People understand that we have challenges with the upcoming fire contract negotiations. People understand the urgency of the city yard. So I would ask that you do still explore that 50-cent increase if we're able to get at least those $1.3 million in spending cuts. Now, from a political point of view, I think that this argument could be aided by you guys putting in a little skin yourselves. If the council were able to face the community and say, we believe so strongly that we need to cut spending in order to earn your trust for a sales tax increase, that we are willing to cut our salaries by some percentage, I think that would be very well received. Now, we don't have to tell everyone that you guys aren't exactly making the big bucks up there already, but I think it would be a gesture that's worth considering, along with some of these other small items up here. You know, we're spending $2,500 for dignitary registration in the parade. We have city council receptions that are usually pretty sparsely attended. We have commission council dinners. These are some additional items that I think we could generate some trust in showing that, hey, council's willing to step up, make some cuts where it affects us, and convince voters that we're going to be good stewards of their money. I want to draw attention to what Brandon was talking about with looking at vacancies and where we might be able to absorb some of these functions. I think that's a case study going forward. I think that there's a huge opportunity to learn from what they've done and to institute a policy that for every vacancy in the next year or two that becomes available, before immediately remarketing it, let's have an analysis done on where can AI and other technologies help spread the workload over existing employees. I think that over the next 2 or 3 years, with the advancements that we're seeing, we could probably save another $1 million through that alone. Thank you.
I do not have any virtual hands raised.
Anyone else? You'll have another crack at it, June 23rd. We will close public comment and bring it back for any questions or a motion.
Question, Mr. Mayor.
Sir.
Thank you. Brandon, while we've got you up there, again, appreciate the report, appreciate the questions. Assuming our budget remains stagnant for next year, could you please explain the impact of the additional, assuming we continue down the path of the county fire and their request, county lifeguards and their request, and beaches and harbor, how much to our budget will that add next fiscal year and the following fiscal years?
So it's still to be determined. The beach maintenance and lifeguard contract will come first, and then fire.
Have they indicated at all what they are looking to increase? Because I know
Councilmember, they're looking for full cost recovery. For the lifeguards, that would be $3.5 million at the end of 3 years. For fire, I can't remember the
I'm
number.
sorry, Steve.
Yes.
So 3.5 million
Over
starting
3,
over 3 years.
yes, so it would ratchet up to $3.5 million in the third year. For the fire, they're looking at, I've got the numbers, and it's about 8.9 and above over the next 3 or 4 years as well. It's unknown what beaches and harbors and the beach maintenance would be. We've not yet been able to nail down a date with them, but we're looking at either July 15th or so to meet with them. In the past, they've said the cost to maintain the beach, and I believe it was 2024, was about 1.5, 1.6 million.
Okay, I just want to make sure we are clear. So the lifeguards was 3.5 over 3 years?
Yes, it will ratchet up from 1 point something to 2 point something to 3.5.
And then 3.5 every year thereafter.
Well, I wouldn't bet on that. I would say that there's going to be cost increases on a yearly basis as well, just like there is with the fire.
Okay, so 3.5 over 3 and then some number around there per annum.
Yeah, I would think somewhere between 4 to 6% on top of that per year.
Okay, thank you. And then fire is 8.9 million over 3 years?
Yes, I'm sorry, I don't have that number.
Yeah, it's getting to that. I think it's a $2 or $3 million increase over 3 years of full cost recovery. But that one, we'll probably get more clarity on that. It's the lifeguard ones. It's kind of the wild card now because essentially we're not paying for lifeguard services directly. So that to answer your first question, what's been embedded? It's a conservative estimate. So I think the genesis of your question was FY27 is balanced. We are not balanced in 28 and going forward. And right now,
and that's what I want to I want to make sure it's clarified for the public because those numbers are big.
Oh, council member, we're the first one to say this is not the last word on this. This is
I understand that, but I want at least some fidelity on what we are expecting.
Sure.
After the following fiscal year, and 8.9 for fire is higher than what I'd heard from chief over 3 years, and then. So we have nothing, you don't have any more fidelity on that?
I do, it's in the office right now. I sent that out before, but I can send that again, council member.
Okay, I mean, I just think it's important that we include that in our briefing so folks understand the importance of what, we are fine. We've balanced that, we are projected to balance our books for next fiscal year, but the following fiscal year, these are all big numbers.
Sure, and we can do that, council member. We hesitated because it isn't current negotiations and we don't have a final number yet.
No, I got it, but we know roughly what we're going to be spending. So those numbers are important for the public to understand.
Absolutely.
That, this isn't just us screaming, we have no money, we have no money. We really don't have any money. And these services are, looks like $5 million, over $5 million per annum moving forward after the next fiscal year. So I think we need to make sure that is fleshed out. And then I did want to lend support to the question with regard to the breakdown of the overtime. I think we need a breakdown of overtime by department and identify the primary drivers of those costs. So I would support Council Member Francois in that request.
And just to that, Ray, I mean, is that something, Brandon, your team can have by the 23rd?
Yes, I think we can give you. I think the questions I'm hearing from the council is, where is overtime? Where is every overtime dollar going? Why? And what are the kind of mechanisms in place to review that? So we can give a preliminary breakdown at the 23rd of showing those questions. Again, the one caveat I do want to point out, though, is that you're not going to get every dollar accounted for when it comes to the systems doesn't track that way. But what I'm hearing is that let's start with, hey, this is where money is going. This is the oversight. These are the guardrails, which I think is what I'm hearing. And then we can have that conversation. Yeah. Again, this is budget related, but kind of ancillary, where if there is further question analysis wanted from council, we can come back in any subsequent meeting. So short answer is yes, we will come back on the 23rd with information.
Coming up with a policy and implement the guardrails to.
We need to know the information first.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, if there's $100 of overtime in the city budget and 50 of the dollars are from grants for DUI enforcement.
That's
I mean,
true, yep.
that changes the tone of the conversation.
The way
That's,
we,
of course, an oversimplification.
and the way we do our pay presents a challenge currently with that.
We'll lay those challenges out and those opportunities out for council to at least start chewing on by the 23rd.
And I understand the detectives probably got held over, called in early the other night. The water main breaks don't work, don't break Monday through Thursday. They, of course, break on Saturday on the holidays, and, you have to have on-call staff for that, so understandable.
You wrote half my memo, so I appreciate it.
Any other comments, conversations, or a motion to receive and file?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Hold on. 1 second, Ray.
I'd like to follow up on the lifeguard contract. If there's some agreement made, preliminary agreement, that we're going to be paying $3.5 million for lifeguard services, and this city council votes it down, decides no, we don't want to pay it. Does the county step in and come up with some limited budget to make it happen? Because as I understand, most other cities don't pay for it anyway. So, we're kind of being singled out here. We were paying, I guess, $1 million before?
No, Councilmember, we are paying for
Percentage from the parking garage, right?
50%, about $350,000 from Lot C, and that goes for beach maintenance and the lifeguard services.
So that was an old contract that is going to end.
That is
and
correct.
it was tied into the county investing in that, and that's over and done. So we're like any other city in the beach area that pays nothing for
Well,
lifeguard services.
We're not like any other city in the sense that we own our own beach. Similar to Santa Monica, they pay for these
Yeah, that
services as
doesn't
well.
matter. That doesn't make.
Okay.
Let's give it back.
It has nothing to do with it one bit. I mean,
They can have it.
basically,
That is my argument
yeah,
as well.
basically, if we say no, we're not paying it. We need that $3.5 million. What happens? They're not going to close the beach down. The county is going to be responsible for lives of swimmers. They're going to find some way, I would think, to cut down on the number of vehicles that are driving up and down the beach, the number of, they're going to pull the reins in somewhere to be able to ensure some form of safety on our beaches for the public, and not just Hermosa residents. We're talking about the public, all the residents of the state and the county, and everyone that uses the beaches. So
I think you're going down a path that we don't know the answer to that, and that's part of the negotiations, and that's kind of the legality of who owns the beach, and if we don't have an
Well-
agreement, so I don't know
Well, you
that we
asked me
can
to
answer. I don't
answer
know if we can answer that.
hypothetical.
yeah, I just
We're
don't know
not
why
there
we're
yet.
even talking about it. The other cities don't pay for it. Why are we being singled out?
And that's
as to
something that I
somehow
think
we have to
the
pay for?
5 of us need to talk to the supervisors and
That'll be,
do the political thing.
that could be what's needed at the end of the day, but, we're at the beginning stages, we're sharing information. We've had some positive talks, so we're going to see where it goes.
I mean, we shouldn't be budgeting for it. That's my point. We're talking about the budget here. We shouldn't be budgeting for that.
I
That should
understand.
just not be, we shouldn't be, that's it. We shouldn't. It's over and done, as far as I'm concerned.
All right, I heard a motion from Councilmember Jackson. Do you want to reiterate that?
So moved, Mr. Mayor.
Is there a second? This is to receive and file?
Receive and
I
file.
assume.
I'll second.
Mayor Pro Tem, any other discussion? Tune back on June 23rd. I'm excited for that presentation, Brandon. Madam City Clerk, roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Francois,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Keegan,
Yes.
Councilmember Seaman,
Yes?
Councilmember Jackson,
Aye.
Mayor Detoy.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
We don't have a public comment on it, or there were no?
Oh, we already opened it up. We already opened it up. So 17C, award a professional services agreement for an on-call broker-dealer services.
So this will be a dueling banjos presentation, administrative services and city treasurer, newly elected city treasurer. There will be no song and dance, just a presentation, I promise.
I'm envisioning deliverance right now.
It's not.
You want this microphone?
This mic over there, if you want to use it. Well, he's gonna step.
yeah,
Yeah, it'll be
we're-
real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's tightly. No, it's choreographed.
Two
Don't
people,
worry.
one mics. So real quick, just a brief overview. I'm going to briefly touch upon what broker services are, kind of why we're doing this now, and where the city treasurer plays into this. So the city treasurer, I'd like to position as one main job, is to invest and protect our investment portfolio. That's maintaining principal safety, looking at liquidity, making sure we have enough money to pay the bills, keep the lights on, and obviously chase return. So what the broker-dealer does is essentially executes on those investment decisions that Dave and his infinite wisdom is going to execute. The issue with here is that the pool of brokers which we have, our bench per se, you've seen this model in other departments, a bench of on-call vendors. We haven't refreshed this bench in over 10 years. It's been 2013 where this bench was last refreshed. Just calcification of just kind of doing business as usual. We've essentially relied on, basically one or a few broker dealers long term. So I think this is an opportunity to inject competition into the marketplace, looking for better service. We decided to do an RFP for broker services. So I'll skip past some of the roles of city treasurer, which I briefly touched upon. We submitted an RFQ out to the public in 2016 in March, earlier this year, and actually had 10 qualified proposals. David and myself reviewed. We decided to move forward with 7 broker-dealer pools. So these are the 7 vendors here. We feel the most qualified, have substantive experience dealing with the public sector, and we feel comfortable with their pricing, their model, their service model, and are comfortable with their management style, that we recommend council approve contracts with these 7 vendors. So real quick, why do this now? Again, as I mentioned, we have not refreshed this pool in over 13 years. What ends up happening is you get calcified and using one single broker, which we have in the past. What increasing the bench will do for us, it increases competition and pricing. So real quick, how a broker makes money, it's the bid-ask spread. They purchase the security, they sell it to us. They mark it up internally, and they sell it to us. We do not have a single dollar expense, a direct expense. So this is essentially a no-cost item. But the issue is, how do you know you're getting the best price? The best way to do that is have a bench, which we're proposing here, to be able to shop around different investment ideas that Dave has and making sure that we're getting the best price for the best return for our pool of money, which ranges between $40 and $50 million at any given time. So again, in conclusion, before I turn it over to Dave, again, this is no direct fiscal impact. We're paying through the investment, through the cost of issuance of purchasing the debt. Again, there's no upfront fees, there's no retainer. We're guaranteeing no business or compensation for any of these vendors. On call at any given time, if Dave wants to execute a trade to juice returns or increase our liquidity position, he has now a set of 7 qualified vendors to choose from. So with that, I'll turn over to Dave for a few comments.
All right, thank you, Brandon. I just want to share some comments and context. I appreciate the confidence of our voters and the opportunity to serve as city treasurer. My principal role, as Brandon said, is to manage our investments in accordance with our investment policy. Our funds are principally invested in a state-administered investment pool known as LAIF, as well as treasuries and CDs that are purchased through broker-dealers and then transferred to and held by our custodian, the Bank of New York, which is the world's largest. We do have a limited menu of investments prescribed by state law, heavily influenced by the Orange County bankruptcy of 1994. We're essentially limited to fixed income investments of less than 5 years of maturity. When I took office and reviewed our program, I felt that our needs were being satisfactorily met by our program, but that proactive changes could be made to improve our investment program to ensure that our needs continue to be well served and to have the confidence of the community. So I took the time to build relationships with other city treasurers and statewide organizations to understand standard practices and best practices. I specifically discussed in greater detail with peers from City of Manhattan Beach, Glendale, Carlsbad, and Sanitas as to their approach and who they partnered with. I spoke with each of the respondents that were listed to understand their approach and their fit for us, and also spoke with their references. I do think that this will allow us to receive better pricing, better returns, and additional market perspective that will benefit the city of Hermosa Beach, its voters and residents and businesses. I'm here to ask for your approval of this item and, of course, answer any questions that you have about it. Thank you.
Anything else?
Only your questions or hopefully a 5-0 vote.
Well, if you would have done a better job, then we wouldn't need to be here with the budget cuts and everything, so. Rob?
Oh, that was nice. Thank you so much, Mr. Mayor.
I'm just kidding.
Dave, my one quick question would be the $40 to $55 million that we have as our investment portfolio. When this money is continuously being invested and reinvested and so on, the income from that investment, is it always rolled over back into the fund, or do the results of those investments come back out ever back into our budget?
Well, yeah, I would say they don't come to our budget. The money is returned back to us. If you look at our treasury reports, month to month, they fluctuate with cash flows such as property tax, et cetera.
But yes, but the interest, the income from $55 million, is that income rolled over again into a reinvestment all the time on a regular basis? And is that by law or not? Or does that money can we actually withdraw that money and spend it?
We'll accrue the returns, so it's pooled cash. So it's not only general funds. So with any kind of state gas tax, any grants, it's all pooled together. A vast majority is general funds. So the short answer to your question is yes, the money is there. It's attributed back. So we do realize the returns. We are pretty conservative, and we don't like to play budget games to make sure that we're not over-promising for returns, but that money does go back. There is a line item for interest returns. So as the interest environment stays quite high, we do recoup those funds. The caution that we always give as financial professionals, though, is chasing returns a dangerous game. If you start pushing the boundaries, if you see any kind of course correction in interest rates, you can see a significant hole in our budget. A lot of cities have gotten in trouble in that, trying to predict 5-6% returns. When those don't come to fruition, you're talking about mid-year budget cuts. So short answer is yes, the money does come back to our cash. What we try to do is be very conservative with where that money is being reinvested.
Well, I'm not suggesting that we do that. I just want to know if we ever do that, and if so, how much of that money do we actually bring back into our budget again?
Returns range from the last few years to 2% to 5%. I think they've ticked up since Dave been on board. So there is a line item. So our general fund budget as of today assumes a interest rate proceed from the investment work that Dave is doing.
Yeah, myself personally, I'm very conservative regarding investment, and any investments that I have, I'm not going to go into that so much, but my own personal investments, the interest money goes back into the fund.
Yeah, it does. And I think that there's a reason in the public sector we noticed his kind of mission statement is in threefold. It goes by an order of importance. Safety of principle being number one, being a fiscal steward of the taxpayer dollars. That's number one key. 2 is liquidity, making sure we can pay bills. 3 is return. I think in the private sector, when you're talking about private wealth management, sometimes those are inverse. You're chasing return first. The public sector finances are a little different. We're looking at making sure we keep our shirt on before we lose it.
No, and again, I totally agree with that. I just want to know if it's possible to do that under the event that someday there's some really overwhelming financial crisis and we might have to. It's legally possible for us to do that. Okay, all right, great, thank you.
I mean, we're currently earning about a little under 3.5% on the funds we have.
Yeah.
As a friend of mine says, the Forecasting Hall of Fame has 0 members. So looking at where we might be a year from now or 6 months versus what we thought it was going to be, it's challenging. And obviously with, expectations around inflation, the war, a new Fed chair, it's pretty hard to predict. So as Brandon mentioned, we do forecast conservatively, but then play hard to get what we can, and this will improve our ability to get better information, better competition, better yields within any given market environment.
And what form do these investments take? Are they CDs? Are they bonds, tax-free? Basically, what is the money invested in?
Well, most of our money is in the state fund, which is called LAIF. That's probably 2/3 of it. The rest we invest on discretion in negotiable CDs and treasuries. There is a list of suitable investments by the state. Some cities, including Manhattan Beach, invest in high-quality corporate bonds. We have not. I think there are times when that could make sense.
Are there the return on the corporate bonds any better, or?
It is better. Credit spreads have been really tight lately, so I don't think we've been leaving much on the table, but that's something I want to explore with some of our new partners.
Okay. We never take the money to Vegas and put it on red?
Prospective new partners. No.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much.
Unless red pays 4%, then maybe.
Okay. Thank you.
All right.
Mayor Pro Tem?
You said most of our money is in LAIF. What's LAIF returning right now?
It is earning 3.81%.
And what is the, before we invested in, we still do, we hold a lot of CDs at 250. Will these be insured, these items, will these be in insurable products, or will these investments with Great Pacific Securities be unsecured, or will they be secured like those CDs are?
Everything is according to state law. So when we buy CDs, we stay within the FDIC limits. When we buy treasuries, those are, not technically insured, but for all intents and purposes, the risk-free investment. If we were to invest in corporate bonds within the highly rated guidelines of the state, those are not insured.
Okay.
But
so
that's
most
true
of the
for
stuff we'll be doing with Academy Securities and Higgins Capital, these are going to be investments that are insured, or you think they'll be more like corporate bonds?
Too soon to tell. I'm not, I don't see us pushing heavily into corporate bonds. This isn't a strategy change. It's just increasing the number of players on the playing field to help us. So, but I do think that some of these companies, probably have a little more presence and a little more market insight if we choose to do that. But it's not a high priority at this point.
Thank you.
Sure.
Dean?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. 3.8%, that's our return on investment right now.
That's what we're currently earning from the
Right.
state pool.
And I
yes.
believe 3 years ago, it was about the same, and I think you said you were determined to make it better, right?
It wasn't
Increase
3 years
that,
ago.
right? That was,
Okay. I don't. It wasn't on my door hanger, but I wanted.
It wasn't on your door hanger.
I didn't bring my. I said that we needed efficient, optimized returns, and we are getting those.
So on the 40 to 55 million we have in reserves, is it fair to say that there's only about 10 million we have discretion on trying to get a better return on? We're fixed on the other?
No, we have discretion on more. We've been heavy on the pools. I think more so than we need to be. So I've been working with Brandon and his team to understand what our cash flow needs are, so that we could have less in the pool and have more in treasury CDs.
Oh, okay.
items.
So we're not fixed on that 2/3. You said about 2/3 are in the pool.
That's where we have been, yeah.
But we're not fixed on that. We could reduce that, and the idea is to bring more into the other areas to improve the return.
That's correct.
And
That's correct.
this is the way to do it, what we have before us.
This is a way to, not necessarily a way to do it, because we could do it with our existing one broker, but we're going to get better competition and just better choices through 7 rather than 1.
Right, okay. And we're not just talking about 10 million, we're talking about more than that, because we will phase out the stuff that's in the pool.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct.
great.
I mean, typically if you loan money out, invest money at longer durations, like you'll get more money on a 5-year bond than a 3 than a 1.
Yeah.
So to the extent that you have clarity on your cash flows and understand what you can go out the curve, as we say, that will help incrementally increase our returns.
And we are making more on our return that's outside the pool, is that right? Would it be fair to say that the pool is earning less than that 3.8? So we're doing better on the money that's outside the pool?
We still have some legacy funds that were invested during COVID that are earning like less than 1%, but as we turn those over, we'll be doing better.
Yeah, okay.
And-
Can't sell those, huh?
You can, but they would be discounted to the market rate, and
Right.
the money was lost. They bought
Yeah,
it. Although
okay.
it's you buy at the market, sell at the market. So
Sure.
and I should add that there are moments where short-term rates and long-term rates are very close. So there are days where the pool is pretty doggone close to a 3-year bond or a 5-year bond. So, but anyway, point well taken.
Great. No, thank you very much for
Yeah.
answering those questions. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
What's the liquidity on the LAIF? How quickly can we get the money out?
Yeah, it's essentially.
So they've inherited this. So I think the value of LAIF is how liquid it is. Essentially, it's overnight return or overnight. So I think the biggest benefit of LAIF is there is restrictions on how often we can draw from it, but that is the number one priority. So you ask why? Well, if the return on a 10-year is 4%, why would you stick it in LAIF that's 3.8? It's liquidity. That's the issue. Is we're able to essentially it's cash on demand. That's the biggest trade-off. So he's essentially playing a balancing act of how much can we put in locked up securities and still maintain the amount of money for us to meet payroll, Joe can pay for projects and whatnot. So it's an art way more than it is a science at this point.
Perfect.
And the thing you have to watch with LAIF is sometimes they're slow to raise their rates, but then they're slow to take them down. So you got to be careful not to be hanging in it until it goes up. You want other securities, and when it's high, you want to keep it all in there until if it's falling rates, they're slower to go.
Yes, yes.
Ray, do you have anything?
No, I just wanted to say thank you, gentlemen, for the briefing. Thanks for all your efforts in helping us get our financial house in order. Just one correction, Mr. Treasurer, you said we are at war. We are no longer at war, according to the administration. And with SpaceX going public, is that a good opportunity for the city to dump some money into that and maybe solve some of our fiscal challenges?
That would not be legal by state code, but that's not an investment option. But I see your smirk, and I appreciate the question.
Thank you.
Madam City Clerk, can you open up public comment, please?
I don't see any virtual hands raised, and we did not receive any speaker cards.
One last call for public comment. And we will close public comment and bring it back to the dais for a motion. I will move staff's recommendation.
I'll second that. You're not going to list all 7?
No, I'm not going to read all that. Any other conversation? Madam City Clerk, roll call, please.
Councilmember Jackson.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Keegan.
Aye.
Councilmember Seaman.
Aye.
Mayor Detoy.
Aye.
Councilmember Francois.
Yes.
Motion passes 5-0.
And Dave, I was just kidding about your returns. You're doing a great job. For the record.
Thank you.
Welcome, Joe.
Mayor, Council, here tonight to consider award of contract for CIP 107 citywide slurry seal project. This project has gone out to bid. It would crack seal and slurry almost 2 miles of roadway through the city. That includes any associated signage and striping updates. And there's also a line item in the contract to do crack sealing only on Hermosa Avenue from Gerando to 10th Street. When we slurry, we actually target roads that are in the good to excellent condition. This is a intentional preventative maintenance strategy, so we're not getting the worst roads, we're getting the better roads to try to extend that lifespan and reduce the overall life cycle costs so that we can push off any future full restoration that's required. This map shows the limits of the work, so the red or pink or whatever color it may look to you is where we're going to do slurry seal and crack seal and any associated pothole repair that goes with it. It's a number of residential streets. And then I have in blue the limits of the crack seal and pothole repair only. That the location Hermosa would not receive the slurry seal treatment because it's not the appropriate treatment, but we're trying to hold that roadway together. We advertised this in April. We got 6 bids back. Good news, they all actually came under the engineer's estimate, so they're under budget and on track. The most responsive and responsible bidder, lowest bid, was Pavement Coatings Company. Came in well under what we anticipated, so we think it's a pretty good value for what we're looking to do. Current anticipated schedule is roughly July, should council approve. It's going to take about 35 working days to do the work. So this is a pretty short project, but it'll likely be wrapped up by September. There will be a fair amount of coordination that needs to be done with the residents because you can't drive on this surface once it's installed. It has to cure for about 4 or 6 hours, so it's going to take a fair amount of coordination with staff and the residents as we try to deploy this work. We would be bringing in assistance for construction inspection because there will be a lot to coordinate in the field. So recommended actions before you tonight. The two that I'll point out is the base contract of about $222,000. We're looking for roughly a 20% contingency of about $44,500 on top of that, and that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer questions.
Thank you. Thank you for including the map. It's good to visualize. I know that Labor Day, we have Fiesta coming back. I mean, is that something? I know that Loma, the big stretch of it, is this something we can coordinate? This is a lot quicker of a treatment than grind and repave, correct?
Yeah, it's pretty quick. So they're going to come in, crack seal, pothole repair. That'll be kind of the first phase. And then the actual slurry treatment, we're going to have to close sections of roadway down for the whole day. So we'll let people get out to go to work in the morning. It's going to be closed all day. It really needs to cure. It's good that we're doing it in the summer when it's dry and warm and we're not dodging around spring or winter rains or cold weather where it's going to take longer to cure. But it is going to take a lot. We got to make sure that the surface is ready before people come home. But we will do our best to try to avoid any overlap with any major events.
I'll keep asking questions. I know we had about $450 budgeted. Was there any other streets we can add with the change order to, increase this money this year to make the impact even greater?
So we'd only be able to work within the 20% contingency if we add anything in. So the first goal would be to use that contingency to address any base scope change orders that need to happen. Should there be additional funds left over, we could see if there's ability to do any additional crack sealing or slurry with those funds if available. But the excess funds that are in the CIP, we would not be able to redirect to the contract. Those would go back in the pot for a future paving project.
Okay. Ray, you got anything?
No, sir.
All right.
Monterey and Linden could use some love.
Then we will open up public comment, please.
I do not have any virtual hands raised.
See if anyone in chambers wants to comment.
Yeah, not all at once.
Our closed public comment, bring it back to the dais for a motion.
Make a motion
Go ahead.
to approve staff recommendation.
Second.
Motion and second. Any other conversation? Thank you, Joe and team, for bringing this item back. It'll be nice to see, the first slurry seal in many years, and if it's something we want to really invest in and continue, knowing that there's a finite window of extending the pavement life before it gets too bad. So, Madam City Clerk.
Mayor DeToy.
Aye.
Councilmember Francois.
Aye.
Councilmember Jackson.
Aye.
Councilmember Seaman.
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Keegan.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
17E.
Okay. The next item for your consideration is award of a professional service contract for on-call environmental monitoring and testing services. Our Public Works team relies on these third-party services. We have typically on-call contract arrangements. These are with older facilities. We often run into lead, asbestos, mold, and when we encounter in the field, we have to stop everything and bring in a testing company and abate as necessary. And so it's very critical that we have on-call contracts ready to go to make sure that our projects can continue in a timely fashion, because we never know when we're going to encounter. We try to do testing before major projects happen, but things change in the field, and we often uncover things when we start opening up walls and floors and ceilings. And so this gives us that necessary flexibility to do work quickly and in a responsive way. We're looking to award 2 contracts at a limit of $200,000 each, 5-year term. Once again, if there's no task orders issued, no money would be spent and these will all likely be attached to a maintenance budget or a CIP project. We advertised publicly back in February. We got 9 responses back. The top 2 ranked firms are AESCO and Panacea that we're recommending award of a $200,000 contract to each one. Once again, these are not to exceed on-call 5-year terms. That concludes my presentation. Happy to answer questions.
Have we had this on-call position before?
We have had older contracts in the past. These aren't positions, they're 2 firms that have various capability to come in and do different testing and monitoring services during construction. It's been some time, and I think we've brought in some smaller contracts, but we really need something more robust because we encounter this issue regularly.
Ray, you got anything?
No, sir.
All right. Anything else? Madam City Clerk, public comment?
There's no virtual hands raised.
All right, we'll close public comment. Bring it back to the dais for a motion or questions or comments. Go ahead, Rob.
Motion to approve staff recommendation.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Seaman and seconded by Francois. Roll call vote, please.
Councilmember Seaman?
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Keegan?
Aye.
Councilmember Francois?
Yes.
Mayor DeToy?
Aye.
Councilmember Jackson?
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you, Joe, for those reports. That'll take us to future agenda items.
Mr. Mayor?
Councilmember Seaman?
I am seeking support for a future agenda item regarding a 12 to 18-month hiring freeze across the board on staff.
To bring that back as an item?
If I have 2, it's an item. If 3, it's an action item.
I'll second it.
Any other support? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't know if this is needed or if it will be included, but with a public commenter speak about the no-fault evictions and the STVRs and everything else, is that going to be part of the public conversation when that item comes back, or do we need a separate item for it?
The evictions would probably be a separate discussion, or we can bring that together as you wish. That's not something that we had anticipated.
Well, then I would seek support to get that added, knowing that we are 50% renters in this town, and you know, I'm not saying it's going to open the floodgates, but I'd like to protect the long-term members of our community.
So what you're asking for is when we have the short-term vacation rental discussion, that this be part of that, a component of that, maybe a condition of, or whatever is decided?
I think having a conversation about everything, including this, would be good.
Yes.
But if it's going to muddy down the process or slow down the process of what's already in motion, you know, different future agenda item as well. But if it just included in that,
Up to council. I mean, if you want informational item, unless there's 3.
I mean, I think part of any STVR policy would include a discussion on eligible properties, and those eligible properties may or may not include those that are currently being rented. So I think this is a subset of that broader conversation.
Sure, we can include it.
May I ask a question? Specifically, what you're asking for is what aspect of STVRs?
if there's a long history, I mean, this is what it sounded like was brought up, but there's a long history of long-term rentals that if they were to, through a no-fault eviction, those long-term renters would be removed, that would inhibit the property from being used as short-term vacation rental for a period of time.
And you
Whether
seek
that's 6 months, a year, 3 years, 5 years.
And you seek to stop that?
Well, we haven't had this issue until the court case, so.
Well, now that it's here.
Correct.
So you're suggesting that we try to fold into any ordinances that we make, that if you have a long-term rental, you cannot evict the tenant to become a short-term rental?
that is part of the options on the table, because again, we are 50% renters in Hermosa Beach, and I would hate to see a lot of these long-term families, whether they're paying under market rent, whatever the situation is, what they have with their landlords, be kicked out and have short-term vacation renters come in.
Well, those people do have property rights. They own the building, and they've put their life savings into those buildings.
That's right.
And they should seem to have the right to do whatever they want to do with their building.
And I don't have any rentals in town, so.
Yeah, that's quite a bureaucracy ahead of us to do that.
It sounds like there's two, and STVR is going to be an info item anyways.
We have two? You
Yes.
and Ray?
Who?
Okay.
Which two?
Ray.
And Ray.
Oh, okay, I didn't hear that. Okay.
Any other future agenda items?
Yeah, I'd like to make a future agenda item for a performance review of the city attorney firm, our law firm. Performance review. Closed session item.
I'm sorry, would you repeat that?
I'd like to make a future agenda item of a performance review at a closed session of our city attorney firm to discuss some ideas.
I don't think that's the way it would work. Don't you approach the city manager independently, and if there's two people, they put it on a closed session? Isn't that how that usually works? Two individual council
I
members
just need a
approach the city
second.
manager, and then city manager puts it on closed session item.
I just need a second for it. If
Well,
someone will.
isn't that how it typically works?
It can work this way as well.
I'll go along with that.
Was there a second?
Yes.
Any other future agenda items?
Just a question in light of that last discussion topic. Mr. City Manager, are we having a review of our legal services? I think we asked for that about a year or so ago. Where are we on that?
Yes, Councilmember,
Audit.
that is in progress right now. He's expected to complete it by the end of this month.
Okay, so that is might we want to table any discussion until we have that audit?
Has nothing to do with that.
We have two for that.
Yep.
Yeah, it's an interesting thing, though. Informational item in closed session.
Closed session, correct.
Yeah,
Okay,
I know, that's,
we'll see where it goes.
that's why I thought you,
All right. Anything else? Thought we're moving along. All right, we will, in future agenda items, city manager report.
Nothing tonight, Your Honor,
Info items are attached.
except for a reminder of closed session.
Correct. So I will not adjourn this meeting yet. We will recess to closed session. We will come back and report on closed session at the end of the meeting. I will open up one more time for public comment on the closed session right now, if anyone is here to speak on the singular item on closed session.
No one has raised their hand.
Okay, so we will close public comment, and we will recess to closed session and come back for adjournment.
we
Thank
come
you.
back
Do we
here
have
to
a
adjourn
break,
after.
Mr. Mayor, before?
Yep, we'll get up, stairs.
Thank you.
So we come back.
Do we have an, oh, here we go. Okay, I just needed a quorum.
Apparently not. No, we're good. All right, we are back from closed session. I do see Dean coming in as well. Mr. City Attorney, do we have a closed session report?
The City Council met in closed session on the item listed on the agenda. There are no reportable actions.
Thank you. That will take us to adjournment. The next regular City Council meeting is June 23 at 5 p.m. for closed session, 6 p.m. from open session. Have a great week.